Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tito Clock. So please welcome your host, James Deacon.
Hey guys, what's up? It's a Monday, it's a holiday, it's Tito Clock, it's Tito James, all the way through till 6 p.m. tonight. What is going on out there, peoples? Where are you tuned in from? And what you doing? Let me see. What you doing? Yeah, I'm looking at you. Oh, man, yeah. Checking out your inside your place there. Just want to see what's going on with all the Tito Clockers out there. So let's kick it off with how we always do, which is just, of course, to greet the people out there. And let's start off with who's first up there. Now we have two first. We have the first on YouTube, first on Facebook, right? So is Mary the first on Facebook? Woo! Mary Flores, you win nothing. But you know what? Huh? I know, it's cool, right? We got YouTubers already here. And who else we got out there on the CC Abad? Nice to see you here, CC. Okay, we got Loretzin, Rosales Lindo. We've got Mayan. It's Monday, man. And Annie Grace Ram. Who else we got out there? I love checking in with the Tito Clockers, especially after a weekend. Hi, Janelle. Nice to see you here. So we got RV, Charlene, Pac Joski, and Jarek, and Giz Ed, and Ali QD, and Kelvin, and Alan, and Telly, and who else we got? Hi, Telly, Zenitram, Tesora JJ. The regulars are here. Ann, hi, Ann, you're here. Francis Paul, Russell. Okay, I think we got quorum. I think we can officially start. I'm a little blurry, right? You gotta sit back a little bit. That's it. How's the focus now? There we go. Young. So okay, it's a brand new working week, or today's technically a holiday, but that doesn't mean the news stops. See, and today we've got our new we're trying out a new newscasters, so it's kind of cool. This is the first time we're doing this since Tito Clock has started, and like I did advertise before, we're going to be trying out some different news readers, newscasters, people who want to get involved with the show and just create something a little bit newer with the show. I mean, we're re-evolving or evolving. I don't think you re-evolve. Evolve is already a thing, right? So you don't re-evolve. Evolving's already doing that. So what we're doing is, just tweaking it and all that. And I think it would be interesting to start off the show with a news portion. And so with that, we're going to welcome up for her first time here, Chris. Welcome, Chris.
Hello, Tito Clockers, and hello, Tito James.
Did we do a sound check on Chris? Because I can't quite hear it.
Hello, sound check. Can you hear me properly? Hello, sound check. Can you hear me properly? Hello, inmates. Tito James, can you hear me properly? Hello. Sound check. 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody. All right. Hello, Tito James. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now. Oh, did we lose it for a while? Okay, sorry about that. So technical problems. All right, we can hear you. And so go ahead.
Yep. Okay. So once again, I'd like to greet everyone a splendid afternoon. This is Chris, and here are today's news. Earlier today, Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez says that the Interagency Task Force, or IATF, on emerging infectious diseases is looking into extending the duration of quarantine classifications from 2 weeks to 1 month. Lopez said this proposal, initiated by Metro Manila mayors, will benefit the government's stability and policies it is implementing, but this is still subject to President Rodrigo Duterte's approval. The chairman of the Metro Manila Council and Parañaque Mayor Edwin Olivares said the mayors in the capital region have recommended that GCQ be maintained over the metropolis for the next 30 days or the whole of September. The mayors reached the agreement during a meeting held Sunday night with some of the cabinet members, and Metro Manila mayors are recommending 30 days of quarantine so that the local government units can prepare for a gradual opening of businesses and the economy. Aside from the opening of industries, mayors are likewise looking into implementing a shortened curfew, which will be from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The local government units are likewise authorized to enforce localized or granular lockdowns where there is spike of COVID-19 infections. Metro Manila and other provinces were placed under GCQ starting August 19. The IATF is set to meet on Monday to discuss quarantine recommendations as President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to announce within the day the new quarantine status measures of Metro Manila and other provinces beginning September 1st. In another side of the world, Tito James, netizens of Abu Dhabi United Arab Emirates have reported sightings of a building in shambles at the airport road in Abu Dhabi. Photos show that the ground floor of the building was destroyed, with some netizens reporting that there has been an explosion that took place near the KFC building in the area. This actually is a very familiar place for me because I grew up in that country. Wow, ouch. I hope everybody is safe. Filipinos living near the area state that a loud explosion sound and vibrations in their building woke them up and startled them. In one of the photos, an Abu Dhabi police patrol can be seen restricting access to the site. And as most of us might know by now, we just lost another Hollywood legend. Black Panther star who some call now the late great Chadwick Boseman died of colon cancer on Friday. His co-star actress and playwright Danai Gurira is the latest Black Panther cast member to pay tribute to Boseman. She took to Instagram on Sunday to honor the quote-unquote king. Gurira says that Chadwick made her job as her character Okoye to respect and protect a king profoundly easy. He was the epitome of kindness, elegance, diligence, and grace. She added that he was a class act and perfectly equipped to take the responsibility of leading the franchise that changed everything for Black representation. She wrote in one of the most moving dedications to the late actor that he is a loss resonating in her own heart as well as around the globe. Her heart aches for the children he inspired to lose their hero just as they finally found him. And I think I'm one of those kids, Tito James. I'm really sad about his passing. And of course, Black Panther director Ryan Coogler recently honored Boseman with a moving tribute, while co-stars Angela Bassett and Sterling K. Brown also took to social media to remember him. Rest in peace, my dear king. And of course, good news for our friends in the summer capital of the Philippines. Liquor ban will be lifted tomorrow, September 1st, to coincide with the celebration of the 111th Foundation Day of Baguio City. Woohoo! The city government also started today the easing of restrictions on the road to revive its economy. Residents are now allowed to enter shopping malls without market and mall passes. According to an order issued on Saturday by Mayor Benjamin Magalong, all schedules for entering the city market must be followed. Residents must abide with the mandatory health protocols such as wearing masks and face shield in public places, avoid crowds and gathering, and not violating physical distancing rules. It was reported that there were 9 new infections, raising the number of patients undergoing treatment to 87. Magalong stressed that while the danger persists, residents must learn to live with the virus while considering the positive effects of physical activities and the company of friends and family. And I do agree with that. The city government will issue new protocols once it allows residents access to local parks in September. And that's the latest for Tito Clock News. This is Miss K. Back to you, Tito James.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, that's a first for us. I hope that was not too traumatic for you. Had a couple of technical Problems as usual, but thank you for that.
Thank you, Tito James.
All right, so those are the latest in the headlines. And what do you think of that? What's your take? Do you like it? Do you think we should continue something along this line? I mean, it makes a bit of sense to me, right? To start off with some headlines. We have something also to comment on. Good news for Baguio City. I like that. Celebrating your 111th, is it? That is so cool. That is really cool. Perfect opportunity to lift that liquor ban. All right, let's go from the serious news over to the inbox where anything goes, really. We don't even know. We're not sure. It could be serious. It could be downright hilarious. It could be any number of things. And that's what we love about it, because it's like Forrest Gump says, a little box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. So you got anything there for us, X? What's clogging up the inbox? Of course. What's Christmas without a Soundcheck, right? It's from Tita Joe himself. Never gets old, my gosh, We got, okay, August 31. What are we looking at here? I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at. 11:59, August 31, September 1. Oh, okay, it's kind of cut because of the banner. I can't see. There you go. So it's like, okay, gotcha. That's Christmas in the Philippines. Yeah, and I hope it's the same. I really hope it's the same. I hope we don't lose that spirit, because it's been a hell of a year. So I think the best we can do right now is to double down on our Christmas lights and celebrations, and we can't really do it in the same way, like, socially and all that, as much as possible. But you know what? The lights should be at least give us something. It's so, this 2020 has just been one hell of a year. It just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Digitize Phil Hill. Yeah, right. Didn't they try that before? Isn't this what got us into this mess? Didn't we pay for this digitalization already? Yeah, we did, right? I'm not imagining that, right? Okay, yeah. So apparently we already paid for this, and we are now being told to do it again, because this will curb corruption. And when that doesn't work, they'll say, okay, maybe we should go back to analog, because it's so easy to do it digitally, to cheat, and then we'll do it. We'll just keep going back. You know what? I think the problem is the people. Not all of them, of course, but the people who are corrupt. Not the people who are in PhilHealth, because there are good people in there, but there are very bad people there too. So I think instead of blaming the digitalization and all the other things, why not just take responsibility for it? The people who are guilty should just rot in jail. Tapos ang boxing. And anyone else that does it has to rot in jail again. You do enough of that, and they'll stop doing it. There's no amount of digitization, or whatever you want to call it, will change it if the culture is corrupt. They're just giving you different avenues and different ways to conceal their corruptness, right? So stop blaming the technology. It's the bad people. I won't say the people. It's the bad people in there. Because there are good people in there, and to you, I salute you, and I feel sorry for you, because you gotta pay the price twice. You're ripped off by your. Never mind. Calm down. Whew. Is this supposed to be the happy side of the news, X? What the heck? This is not happy at all. This is pretty bad, because the whole DILG. I mean, they're shutting it down temporarily, supposedly. But when your 911 call center goes down because they are all too sick to answer the phone, that's cause for national urgency. That's really a big national concern. I mean, seriously, a lot of people are complaining that there's no backup plan. And for something like that, you need a backup plan. You just can't simply say, well, everyone's sick today, so the whole country's just got to not have an emergency until we get better. There has to be some kind of a backup plan. Posted this, I think it was Friday, I'm not sure. And so it's one of those things that now I know why they call it the net, right? The World Wide Web, or the net. Yeah, because of this. But my goodness, this is what freaks out a lot of people who come to, because we're not the only place that does this, but I think we're one of the worst places, but one of. But when foreigners come here and see this, they can never get over the spaghetti system we have going on with and to think this is supposedly wireless, right? Wireless technology. Next up. Okay. This guy just keeps hitting one home run after another. It's crazy how much when you think this guy could just rest on his laurels, he just keeps going out and he just keeps doing more and more stuff. And kudos to you. mayor, that's fantastic. You just don't. I hope you never tire of public service. I hope you never tire of doing good. I hope you never tire of helping your city and your people, because this is not a job that you can just say you've done once. It's just a continuous thing. It's like breathing. You can't say, okay, I breathed before, that's it, my job's done. Once you stop, it dies. And it's the same thing with with governance. It's the same thing with cleanups. It's the same thing with progress. It just, you're only as good as your last breath, type of thing. And so kudos to you for still breathing and still filling up your constituents and stuff with hope, because right now we need all the hope we can get. We need good governance as well. So hats off to you. Yes, that's right, Pearl. He's that guy's probably going to be the next president of this country. Okay, next we got is this another one? Is this? It's not the same one, right? No, it's not. No, this looks like Trinoma area, round about that area, Centris area. Grabe. And then later is this because they're trying to catch a bus? Because the bus is on that side of the road? We also posted something about I posted something about the bikes too, and that kind of blew up as well. Did you see that? I posted that, I think, yesterday, the bike lanes, and very controversial, more controversial than I thought the case. I'll explain it to you. So I posted this, and there are quite a lot of reactions. I think 8,000 or 9,000 reactions to it, which is obviously quite a lot. But here's the interesting thing about it. People who are commenting, like I guess 90+%, if I was to throw a number out, were saying, the obvious, which is, you finally give them bike lanes and then you ride the other side. But then cyclists were also sending in messages, mostly privately to me, saying, hey, Tito James, you got to understand that that's not an adequate bike lane. So it's not built to spec. And therefore, this is why people are riding on the outside. So, it's not fair. They were saying that you're painting these people out to be undisciplined. And really, it's more the government that hasn't created the proper lanes to standard, to spec. They haven't put enough markings on it to say it's a bike lane, so people don't know it's a bike lane. And I can understand where they're coming from. But having said that, I got to say something which I think is quite how I responded to basically those who sent private messages to me, was I was saying, while I get your point, I'm a biker too, and I totally understand what you're saying. But if you're really trying to create a movement or trying to get better your community, you got to work with compromise, and you got to also work with perception. You can't just simply say, hey, this is not built to spec, therefore I'm not going to use it. It's a give and take. It may be substandard, but remember, before this, there was no standard. So from no standard to substandard is already a bit of an improvement. I'm not going to disregard the fact that, yes, there is a problem sometimes when we accept some standard things, because the government ends up, or whoever built it, ends up saying, well, okay pala yun, you accepted it. So I understand where they're coming from when they're worried about setting a precedent or accepting it as acceptable. But having said that, you need to also understand that you cannot also fight for more when you are openly defying. So if you're going to try to get more from the authorities, in this case, the government, who built the lane, but you're not going to use the lane because you want to demand more from them, you realize where that's you're not going to get anywhere. Because we're dealing with two problems here. One is you're not even going to comply, so you're not willing to compromise. And another thing is perception. We need to share the road, which means we need the cooperation of the four-wheel guys as well. And if you have a bad perception that you are openly defined as cyclists and you're difficult to deal with, then it's going to create more tension between the four-wheel and the two-wheel community. This is why it's like I'm saying, listen, even though it's not perfect, let's work with it first, and then let's nudge them to improve it. But let's not just sit and openly defy it and then say that this is correct, to sit there in the middle of the road, because now it's just going to create bigger problems between the two communities, two-wheel and four-wheel. I'm from both, so I understand both. And I understand the plight of cyclists, and I do agree with them that, yes, this bike lane could be a little bit done a lot better. There are improvements that can be done, but it shouldn't allow people to be openly defiant. Does that make sense? Okay. If you want to push forward, you got to push forward. You can't just keep defying and then expect everyone to just kowtow later on. So give and take, right? Give and take. I get where you're coming from, though. I'm not trying to discount the fact that you don't have a point. You have a point, but there's a bigger issue here. The bigger issue here is to fight for more bike lanes. They're not going to give us more bike lanes if the few that they give us, we're going to openly disrespect, even if we feel that it's not the standard. That's what I want to say. Okay. That's right. There is why I like Peter Cloth. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but yes. I'll just take it as a compliment. All right. Next up, we got, hi, Tito James. I'm an aspiring radio DJ. How can I apply to radio stations? Any advice? Well, you could try applying here first, get some experience on the air, and then bring that demo tape out. As I mentioned before, and we just tried out Kay today on the show, we're trying out newscasters. And this is partly for two reasons. One, we want to develop the show into something a little bit more sustainable for the new normal, something that's more relevant than the lockdown format we started. And two, to really help out people just like you. So it's a coincidence, a happy coincidence that you sent your message, because I think if you can try out somewhere here, like online, there's already a group of people who are watching the show, so they'll give you enough feedback, you'll get enough experience. And then with that, you can take that to a radio station. See how that works? So baby steps. And I'm happy to give you a tryout. And hey, if it works out, great, good for you, and good for us if it works out for us too. So RS, send us a PM. And actually send it to jamesdeacon.ph@yahoo.com. That's the name, the spelling of the name is James Deacon, as you know, .ph@yahoo.com. And try to do a voice sample, even if it's just your own on your own phone, even if you don't have professional equipment yet. Just try to do it and just see let's give us a listen to what you sound like. Gotcha? Okay, next, De La Rosa Paseo. What are we looking at here, X? It's not going to be upsetting, is it? It's not going to be something I'm going to, get into a bad mood over, is it? I saw this. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I remember now. So this ambulance, you can see the lights green on the motorcycle's side, right? If you look above where the motorcycle is, yep, he's green. So the ambulance and don't tell me the ambulance didn't stop. It didn't. It just kept going. Now, they might say that they have a duty, they have somebody on board, but the thing is, even if you are an ambulance, you cannot just go through a red light like that. You still have to slow down, you still have to check for traffic, and you still have to proceed with caution. You don't just barrel through. Oh, yeah, he wasn't barreling through it, but there was obviously it didn't look like he slowed down at all. So, okay, the motorcycle, you could say, could also have been looking around, but the motorcycle had the green light. So there is a little bit of responsibility on both sides, but really the ambulance has to be the one more cautious here because it's going through a red light. It's allowed to do that if it's in responding to an emergency. And remember, that's the key. If it's not responding to an emergency or it doesn't have a patient in the back there, then it's a severe abuse of authority. But if it did, it still has an obligation. It still has an obligation to slow down. And if it didn't slow down, it has an obligation to stop as well, or at least get somebody out there. The guy could have been injured anyway. It's a bad situation all around. But just goes to show, be always on alert. And even though you do have a green light as a habit, I always, especially when it's a night and stuff like this, when it's quieter and less traffic, when I go through a green light, I always check around. It's just a habit now because you never know. And usually this is where all the problems happen, when you drop your guard and think that you have the right of way. And yes, you do have the right of way, but something like that happens and it doesn't matter anymore once you're either laying in a hospital bed or worse. You won't really matter and won't really care about the right of way. So safety first, please. Next up. New motorcycle plates are here. I heard that San JV is like trying to compromise again with this because they're looking at RFIDs now. But we already got the new plates, so it may end up a little bit the same way where people have, will end up spending, but then we'll have something change. But I like the idea of what he was saying about the RFID, only because I do see in a lot of checkpoints motorcycles who are unfairly harassed. Now, there are people, of course, we know that there's a reason that they are also pulled up for that, because we have a lot of criminals who use motorbikes. But again, that's not the whole motorcycle community. So everyone's punished because of the same thing. RFID should make it a little bit faster and easier to be able to do the checks on every bike, and then they can be on their way a lot faster. So I like that idea, but I'm not sure about this whole front plate thing, because if certain bikes don't fit it, how do you say this bike should have it, this one doesn't need to have it, right? You need to have new plates the same. What do you know about that? Or Erison, share your stuff here. This is all about community sharing, knowledge, etc. Okay. You got anything else for us there, X? This is, what are we watching here? You're going to have to zoom in a little bit because I'm not sure what we're looking at here. So it's illegal parking there in the unloading area. Number one, what people learn. New plates. Alrighty, so if we haven't got anything else, let's move on. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this. Look at that road. That's in Sorsogon, man. That is so cool. And look at those bike lanes, and look at the multicolor this is world class. It looks world class at least. And congratulations to Sorsogon. That's how I'd like to see the bike lanes and the roads and stuff like that, with that kind of work, with that kind of design, where it really does, become a very safe passage for pedestrians, for bikers, etc. Good job, DPWH. Yeah, look at that. That is really, really nice. Maybe that's what they could do in maybe the Cavitex area. That would be nice. In the Cavitex area. And even at night, it looks gorgeous. Great. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the headlines and the inbox. I don't know if I should tell them that story about what happened today. I'm a little, make it cuento, right? Today was a very, very weird day because, all right, this is it. Okay. Wasn't even sure I was going to tell you this, but I'm still a little bit bothered by it. But so, okay, we've been tapped for an engagement, and then I'll just say it was a company that deals with health and safety, right? So it's basically that's the whole push. I won't say exactly what the product is, but so we're tapped to do this product for health and safety and all that. Now it's a collaboration. It's one of these brand partnerships where you work with the brand and you come up and help with the content on how to deliver the messaging, etc. Anyway, it was early days, so we started, and there was supposed to be a first draft sent out of the video last night. But I was not feeling well, and don't worry, it's not COVID, but they didn't know that. I was actually very down the whole weekend, and so I was just feeling really, really bad. And so I sent a message to X and said, X, I don't think I'll be able to do the video today, but can you ask for 1 day extension? And remember, we're just talking first pass. We're not talking just the first pass of the video where they see, okay, this is the kind of thing we're looking for, and it's ticking the boxes, etc. When she asked that, though, the reply came back, and it was shocking. It was just really, they were like, no, what the hell? What's this? What we have an engagement, whatever. And it's like, wait, I know, but the guy is sick. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do about it? There wasn't even a question of how is he? Is it COVID? Did he get a swab test? Nothing. It was just, no, we have an agreement, and that's it. It needs to be done by this time so it was like, whoa, 1 second. So it's a little fresh. because it's income obviously, but it's just kiss it goodbye, because I said absolutely no way will I work with a company that would do this to people. Because I think what the reason I want to tell you this is not for anything else. It's just it's a very tricky space, right? With influencer marketing, as they call it, right? It's different to advertising. If you want to advertise, you can buy space anywhere, right? You can buy reach anywhere, and there's no shortage of people that will sell you that and jump through hoops for you. But when you're doing stuff with influencers, or at least I can only speak for myself, there's a big difference, because you're not advertising, you're using a communication partner. So that influencer needs to believe first in what they're actually talking about. So they have to pass that test first. First, it has to be a good product, right? And after the good product, they have to understand what the brand values of that company are, because you'll need to share those brand values. If your brand values don't mix, you don't do it. It's as simple as that. So here's a health and safety company dealing with health and safety. But when push comes to shove, they're willing to put the health and safety of their very own influencer over and above their deadline. So it was like, see you later, bye. Can't do that. Will not do that. You cannot. You gotta believe in what we're actually selling here. We gotta believe in what we're actually promoting. If you're going to be hypocritical like that, if you're going to be in conflict with your own mission and vision, where you're trying to sell a product that's supposedly health and safety, but your company and your culture is, look, we don't care about your health and safety. We just want to make a deadline. It's not going to get you very far. So sorry, I had to get that off my chest. It's still a little fresh, still a little upset, and yeah. Anyway, it's off my chest now. It's a bit, because you can't be that hypocritical, right? I mean, and I would certainly never put my name next to something that, I haven't worked this hard just to put my name next to something people borrow my name to put on theirs to give them credibility, just to say, look, we just want to sell and we really don't care whether this product works or not, because you're literally telling that to the person by saying, I don't care if you're sick or not, you do this because I have a deadline to meet. Well, by deadline, by project, it's gone. Yeah, it does suck a little bit, but that's exactly the word I used, was empathy. It's exactly the word I used. In fact, I could even, so I don't want to give away too much, because I don't want to, sell anyone down the river, but I will. That's exactly how I put it, right? Because at the end, they were saying, okay, we're really sorry. Obviously it was a bad outburst. And I was like, I hope you can forgive. I was like, it's not personal for me. I'll read directly from what I said, just so everyone's on the same page here. This is not personal for me, so don't worry. It's purely business, and I just don't want to do business with people who would prioritize their own corporate deadlines over someone else's health and safety. It is very telling. It may seem like a simple outburst on your end, but what's obvious on mine is that there was never any value assigned to the people involved, just the deadline and commissions. If it's all about the money, you don't need me. You have no end of choices to spend that money, or where to spend that money and get your reach. I'm sure there are many who will fall over themselves to meet that deadline. Influencer marketing is different, or at least it is with me. I have to believe that the brand delivers on its promise. In this case, that's health and safety. Yet, ironically, that was the first thing tossed aside when it started encroaching on timelines. So, apology accepted, but it will take more than that to establish a working relationship again. So, if you are a brand and stuff like that, now more than ever, people are going to go for your sincerity and your authenticity. You're not going to survive long now, because people, I think, are more clued up. People are going to be more careful in how they spend. So if they don't see your sincerity and you're doing something in conflict with your own mission and vision just to sell, it's not going to work. When you work with an influencer, especially one you trust, work with them, because you're both delivering a message that you both have a responsibility for. As I said, I'm not selling space. It takes a lot to be able to be a communication partner, because there's many different boxes you have to tick. I can't just, like I said, I can't do anything that is against road safety. I can't. Do you know how many things that we have to turn down because it just doesn't fit with the brand and doesn't fit with the messaging here? So that's the tough part, and that's why I got a little bit about that. So sorry about that. Well, I don't know if I hope that their sales plummet, because I don't know about the I don't know if this is the culture of the actual whole company, and that's why I'm not mentioning the company, because I give the benefit of the doubt that this is just the one or two people involved in the project that were behaving like brats and stuff like that. And I think it's not fair to put the whole company, because it is a big company that was engaging. But yeah, I'd rather, it can always risk it. Absolutely, exactly. And especially when you're the product you expect, the product you're talking about is to promote health and safety. Please dig your own grave. Yep. If you don't believe in the product much more with the company, then don't, because many people patronize the product because of the endorsement influencer. Absolutely, Gwen. And I take that very, 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 very seriously. And sometimes it really hurts to turn down, paid engagements and stuff. It really does. I'm being very honest with you here. I mean, normally people skirt these issues and they don't like to talk about them because, but I've always felt and I believe in transparency. And, you don't get, this is 20 years for me doing this same kind of work. And for 20 years, I've had the same standards or the same guidelines and the same principles and the same, I've done it the same way, and I've turned down different things that have hurt. And believe me, when you're starting out, especially, it really hurts to turn down. I remember one bank a long time ago. So I was just starting out in this whole thing. It's about 6 years ago. I mean, I'd already been doing like magazine stuff, but online it was pretty much like 6 years ago. And I remember this, it was a good bank too. I mean, it wasn't, it's actually a bank that I used too. So they approached and they were working with a campaign, and they said, can you help us out with this? I mean, it's an engagement. And so, yeah, I understood. And I said, what's the project about? And they said, well, if you could send out some feelers, and basically you're asking about trust, right? And I was like, okay, trust, right? What about trust? And they said, just ask your followers about trust, what it means to them. And then we'll send a brief afterwards. So I was like, okay. So I did. I asked my followers at the time, what does trust mean to you? And it was a very genuine and sincere question, because I didn't know where this was going. So everyone was pouring their hearts out and saying, genuine things about trust is this, and this is what trust means to me, and blah, blah, blah. And they're all sharing just their own personal take on trust. And then the next day, I said, do you have the brief? And they said, okay, just do it again. I said, again, ask the same question. Yeah, just keep asking the same question. And then on this day, Sunday, we'll break the campaign. I'm like, okay, but what if people ask me why you keep asking the same question? He said, you can't say anything. I said, isn't it ironic that you're trying to build a campaign on trust, but then when somebody asks me what I'm supposed to say, I'm supposed to lie to them. I'm not supposed to reveal it to them. And I'm basically tricking them. And so I had to say no. And that was really painful, because that was a long time ago when things were a lot, well, they're tight now because of COVID. But before, it was like, you're just starting out, you're doing anything. But could you imagine if I did that back then? I don't think it would have ever reached the stage, because you would have built on that. And when you build on that, you make one compromise like that, and it's wrong in your heart. You feel it. But you think, okay, I'll get away with it because it's money and other people are doing it. That's never a good enough reason to just say other people are doing it. You have your own standards, and you have your own principles and your own ethics. So if it feels wrong to you, don't do it. Because every time you do that, you could look at it at two ways. One, you're kissing money goodbye, which is how some people in the company saw it, to be honest. Because it's like, hey, you're still kissing money goodbye. I said, no, I'm not. It's a lot of money, but it's actually investing that money back in, investing the money back into the brand. Because there's no way that this is no. It speaks more on what you turn down sometimes than what you accept. So, eye-opener for me. I know the messaging, but to hear someone else verbalize just cements how one's values play a core part in business relationship. Mars, that's exactly another part, because it's a long thread. It's not that long, but it's exactly the same thing. I said in the same thread, the same person, I said, I place more value on relationships than engagements. And it's true. In this industry, it's all about people skills, it's all about relationships, and it's mostly all about trust. So, sorry. But you'd be surprised how many people do this. At this time, sincerity of influence is being taken seriously. Masa are quite sensitive in honesty and sincerity. You're right. You're right, and I take that very seriously, Rachel. I really do. It's something that it's the only most valuable currency right now that this page has, and that's why there's no way in the world that I would risk that for just one engagement, no matter how big it was. There's a bigger picture here, a far bigger picture, and there's just something that no. And I also want to, as much as possible, practice what I preach. And if you're going to be, you're gonna, it needs to hurt sometimes. It needs to hurt to be able to turn down something that's already. By the way, there was already a deposit paid, so it's money out. Gotta pay back, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You've got your standards, you've got your principles, and that's it. Stand in your own values, Myrna. You're absolutely right. That's all you got. That's really all you got. At the end of the day, it's the effect you have on others. It's your word. It's your trust. It's all that. Everything else fades. So, kind of a little bit bummed out, but yeah, I wasn't too minds whether I should share it with you. But what else do we do here if we don't share? That's what we do. We talk, we share, we exchange ideas. Just one person can, and that's why I feel very strongly about not exposing. Like, I'd hate to think that a whole company like PhilHealth. I've used the PhilHealth example because that's one that everyone loves to hate right now, and for good reason. But you just can't hold everyone responsible, the whole institution. So same thing with this. Had it come from the higher ups, like the head, and they were telling me that this is their corporate culture, fine. But this was not. This was some account manager that was just, completely zero empathy and zero idea of how these things work. And what disturbs me is, obviously, I don't think you get to that stage without getting away with it. That's why it bothered me a lot, because it was like, wow, you've done this before, and it's worked for sure with other people, because the way you came on was so strong. And man, I don't know who you're dealing with and what kind of brands you're dealing with there and people, but that's just something I don't think it's not a good way to start, put it that way. This is a people business. Alrighty, stand on your own values and good decision. Thanks. I hope I know it worked out. Even if it doesn't, it's still something worth more than that. It is a big responsibility. It's a very big responsibility, Joan. And the larger that the page gets, the bigger the responsibility gets. And it gets tough because it's very hard to please everybody, and that's always going to be the toughest part of growing in this space. Is you will find at some point, and it happens at very different points in your career and very different points of your growth, where they start tugging in different directions, because people will identify you for a certain way, and then if you don't fulfill that for them, they feel disappointed. But then you have other followers that follow you for different reasons, and then that's why it's important to stick to your own. And this is for everybody, not just for me. This is life advice. You determine your own values and principles, and you put the value on that. Okay, don't allow other people to do that, because it's really your set of values, not everyone else's. You don't expect everyone to adhere to your standards or whatever, but you need to create your own standards. Because if you're trying to please everybody, you'll end up pleasing nobody. As they say, you can please some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time, and never all the people all the time. And sometimes in the pursuit of that, you can end up forgetting about who you are and what the message is. You need to bring out that message, and that message needs to be yours. Those values and standards need to be yours. And then if people choose to follow you after that, then great. Then you're building a really good, like-minded community. But if you're trying to pander to everybody just to make sure everyone's happy, you will end up making nobody happy, and you will bring no value to society, because your word won't be worth much, because they know that it can be sold to the highest bidder or bullied. Either way, it's still not your own opinion. You don't stand on your own resolve and your own values and your own principles. So, how's my plant dead? It's not good. I picked off another dead leaf today, and I'm genuinely worried about it. It's still kind of okay. X, you want to maybe hand it, and maybe we can get some Tita Clock advice over here. All right, so it's still alive, but it's starting to look a little bit worse for wear, right? I mean, like, you're starting to see it's. Don't judge me. I can feel the judgment. I can feel it. I can feel being cyber judged. Thanks, Mary Antoinette. Sorry, in a way I kind of feel like a bit that I should have brought it out, but I was just a bit. When something's not sitting right with you, it just. And again, I don't believe in calling people out and putting people in these situations, like trying to embarrass them or anything. But I think the message is very important. I think it's. The plant is sucking out your stress. Maybe maybe it's, what do you call it? Trauma transfer, pain transfer, and it's absorbing all of my. Oh, now I feel even worse. I would have been happier, Gwen, if it was like sunlight and water that, I wasn't doing the timpla right. At least I could. But if it's because it's suffering because it's absorbing all of my stress. Okay. Okay. I'll be ano. Kausapin mo. Yes, I will. I do talk to it, but today maybe that's why it's wilting. Oh, yeah, the coffee grounds. Can't hurt. It's organic, isn't it? And I'm just thinking it can't be any worse than it is now. So sayawan mo ng raffle dance. I would, but then Rocket always jumps up. Well, he's not here today, but yeah, every time Rocket sees the raffle dance, he comes and he bites me in the neck. So try putting the plants in the window. It's right by a huge window. I mean, it's literally, Chris, it's right there. Look, I mean, it's floor to ceiling glass, put it that way, where the plant is. But then I guess sometimes during the weekends, especially maybe the blinds are closed. Maybe I should leave the blinds open on the weekends. Because, I mean, nobody comes here during the weekends and stuff like that. And yeah, it probably doesn't get enough light. What makes the show awesome is the combination of genuine host fans and guests. Yes, I think it's that community. So, but thank you. Very flattered, but I really feel it's the community. And I think what makes it special is the community was built under very special conditions and very special circumstances. So, the bond that we share is very unique. When they say when you go into battle together, it forges a different type of bond. Well, it's the same thing with what we went through here. It may not be war, but we went through a pandemic and a lockdown. And I remember especially the early days, and most of the Tito Clockers are from day one. People like Telly and Gwen and Anna, and all these people are from day one. So you share this very special bond because you went through something difficult together, and that's why I value it so much. So thank you for noticing. As you can tell, there's no real actual structure to the show per se, not like a proper show, but that's being worked on now. So we do understand that growing out of the phase of lockdown and into something more permanent, and that's what's being planned as we speak. So as you noticed today, we tried a news reader, and I'll try that out for the rest of the week, and we'll probably try anyone else that comes up, because like I said, we want to give opportunities to people as well as improve the show. So we'll do that. Plus, we are looking for a producer as well. So we're talking to a couple of producers now, and we'll see how we can bring this into the next era, because I think the next step here requires, growth and more people involved to put it together. So this was something that we took on as a special project because, we were all thrown into this lockdown, right? But now that things are opening up and there's more work, as you notice, there's been some days where I'd have to make paalam early, or I didn't go on a couple of times. I think I've missed the show because there's work at the same time, like we have hosting and things like that. So I want to be able to get, let's say, a full-time producer to be able to put the show together so that I can just pretty much arrive and drive, and that's it. But as it is now, I can't just arrive and drive because I have to come here, think about what's going to happen. If there's a guest, I have to plan the guest, coordinate. And we all have other jobs. X has a full-time job doing something else in the company, completely different. So, we need to go focus back on that. So we need help. So there you go. If there is a producer out there still looking, we're still interviewing at the moment, and would want to just make the show as good as possible. Work on this base that we built, because the base is awesome. It's absolutely sensational. I think it's the best bunch of people on planet Internet. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You go around and you see other communities and other pages, and everyone's fighting, this is totally, totally, totally different. So I'm very, very, really just wanted to grow. But I wanted to grow from this community, this space. So that's it. If you know anyone out there, or you yourself might want to try it out, if you think you can book guests, you can program the show, you can write, you can put in segments, just make sure that it goes well every day and stuff like that, then we'd be super happy to bring you along and make you part of the team. It's all part of that. It's all part of growing. It's all part of just trying things out. Okay, so X. Yeah, no. Just before we wrap up, just want to say Bridgestone have been supporting this show from day one, and I think it's absolutely awesome of them that they've come in, especially during a time when there were no sales and people were going dark, and people needed to companies were just going dark because they weren't selling. So what was the point? They wanted to bring their costs down, and I understand that. But what makes Bridgestone unique for me was when they had an opportunity, they supported even though there was no opportunity to sell. So they supported the show because they wanted to be part of this community as well. And like I said, they helped us build it. So it's not like they came in and just said, listen, we just want to buy in. They helped build this community by making this possible. So we always want to help them out and make sure that now that we are going back on the road again, and we help them out too, and we return the favor. So thank you, Bridgestone, for all the support. And now they're giving a buy three, get one free at their dealerships, and it's a perfect time to get a new set of tires as well. So thank you for that. And just a little trivia and anecdote is when Bridgestone did, I asked them, I said, out of curiosity, why would you want to do this now when I have my own reasons of what I'm thinking, but I want to hear it from you. Why are you doing this? You can't sell. They said, it's not about selling. It's about delivering on a promise. We were never really selling tires per se. We were selling a promise. We were selling safety. We were selling security. We were selling peace of mind. And now that our customers need it the most, when they're down and out, we want to be there for them and deliver on that promise, even if it doesn't involve a tire. I thought that was really nice, no? Okay, so basically, buy 2 tires of the same variant and the customer gets to draw a prize. So there's another promo. If the customer buys 3+1, she gets to draw 2. Oh, this is so cool. So on top of the 3+1, if you get the 3+1, you get to draw 2 prizes. Promo proceeds will be donated, and it kind of locked again. So this is a cool promo. So if you're looking for tires, this is a good time. We committed to erecting 3 new public school classrooms. We have yet to decide where. Oh, this is so cool. So basically, not just will you be getting yourself a new set of tires, saving some money, you'll be able to help build some public classrooms. And Bridgestone, definitely one of those companies that have always been there for the community too. So with that, you know what's up. Come on, today we're wrapping up the plan. No, I'm kidding. We're not wrapping up the plan. It's 1K cash. Who we got out there? Come on, lucky you. Ooh. Raffle time. When we want the regulars win. Some regulars win. You won. Congratulations. All right, let's leave it there. It's wrapped up another Tito Clock. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope we at least enjoyed spending the time together. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place. And once again, if you know anyone there looking for work as a producer, pop us a little DM. In the meantime, don't forget to be kind to one another and wash those hands. It ain't over yet. Bye, guys.
Fancy meeting you in my internet. Couldn't help but notice your smile, while everybody else around us is surfing about. Can we just stop and chat a while? Get away from these gray and boring, lonesome days of our quarantine. Early yet to say what lies ahead. It's just the first day of the rest of our lives. Love could be waiting at the end of this quarantine. Let's stop and talk a while. Let's stop and talk a while.